Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can? Hey everybody, welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. We're currently having an ice storm in middle of April here in Michigan. It's outrageous. I know many of you guys in the Midwest or the Northeast are behind on your goals, and customers don't want to schedule yet because it's cold, and that's really frustrating, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It just means you're going to be really busy when the weather finally breaks. But today what I want to talk about is a little bit of mindset stuff. Last year I learned about this Australian runner. Many of you, maybe you've heard of him. I just found out about him last year. His name's Cliff Young. Cliff Young, okay? Now this guy was 61 years old at the time he decided to enter what's called an ultra marathon. An ultra marathon. So we all know what a regular marathon is, right? Where you run, I think, 25 miles or 26.2 miles or whatever it is, right? Which is a really long way. It's like, I think the longest I've ever personally ran is like 6 miles or something, which was like insane for me. Well, an ultra marathon is around 500 miles, okay? It's actually 544 miles in this case. And they do this as like this annual thing in Sydney, Australia. And it takes like a week. And so all these runners come there and you just start running. And when you get tired, you can start camping on the side of the road, or I don't know the logistics of how they do it, or you can keep running and keep going or whatever. And what happened was Cliff Young was an Australian potato farmer. He wasn't even an athlete at all. And you can Google this and go on YouTube and watch some videos of it. It's an amazing story. But he just decided he wanted to participate in this 544-mile race, and everybody thought it was a joke, and people made fun of him. And he was kind of like a news story, but not in like just kind of like a feel sorry for the old guy, thinks he can run kind of thing, right? Well, he ends up winning the race. And not only does he end up winning the race, but he actually breaks the record by a lot. I'm looking to see if I can pull this up, what the previous record was, but he smashed the previous best time ever by like an extra day or something, or by 12 hours or something. And it was his first race. It was his last race. He didn't do it again, but he trained on his farm wearing these little boots. They call them gum boots, or like these little rubber boots, and he'd just skip around the farm. And what was really cool about his story is he knew he was going to win. He planned on winning the whole time. People just didn't understand that he would, or that he could, or that it was possible. Again, he was 61 years old. It's an amazing thing. It was like insane. I don't know how the guy didn't fall over dead. Well, the reason he won is because he didn't stop running. The guy just kept running. So people would stop for the night, and he would just keep going. He'd only stop to eat something real quick or to take a bathroom break. And he had this really weird running style where he kind of just like glided his feet across the ground and had like kind of a weird look to it, the way that he ran. And people made fun of him for it, but he ended up winning the race because of it. And everybody else is sleeping. He just keeps skipping through town, going down the road to the next mile marker. It was insane, right? And I think that's really cool. So what happened is when Cliff Young did that, everybody's minds expanded on what was possible, young and old. I mean, he literally just rewrote the rules. He just proved categorically to everybody, no, you're wrong. A 61-year-old non-athlete can win and break the record, because, I mean, there's nothing to scoff at now. He did it, right? He showed up and he did it. And there's another story about Roger Bannister. And Roger Bannister was the first person to break a 4-minute mile. Because for many years, for many, many, many years, it was believed that getting a mile in less than 4 minutes, running a mile, was just not possible, right? But in 1954, Roger Bannister did that. He broke the 4-minute mile by like just over half a second. And what's really weird is like no one could do it. No one thought you could do it. Then he did it. And as soon as he did it, a gajillion people have done it. It's like a standard thing now. If you're going to be like a professional middle distance runner, that's what they call people that run those types of race, like you need to be running sub 4-minute miles, like just because everybody is, right? And that's like running 15 miles an hour nonstop the whole time. That's crazy. And the reason I bring this up for your business is that once you understand something's possible, doesn't it get a lot easier, right? It gets so much easier. And even with the internet and this podcast, I think what's really cool is like people like Brandon Vaughn, who I'm going to have on the podcast a lot more. I'm trying to get him to do like a weekly day, like where we do like a day with Brandon and ask him questions. Because one of the things about him is he's kind of done like the Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile thing. I mean, imagine having a service company in the 90s when you didn't have access to the Facebook groups that we have now, the resources, the trainings, even the courses we put together through, the Automate, Grow, Sell Bootcamp or the Send Jim Sales and Marketing Super Course, or just free things like this podcast or the growthvault.com. There's just like so much stuff out there. There's so much information. And not only does it give you tactics, what it does, it helps you understand definitively that what you want to do is absolutely possible. Other people have done it, and so can you. And that is a huge advantage. If you look at Roger Bannister, he didn't have that. He didn't have that previous evidence that what he was trying to do was even possible. You look at Cliff Young, who ran 544 miles at 61 years old. He didn't have like some guarantee, right? So these people kind of like changed the rules for everybody else. They broke these barriers, and it's amazing. And they're leaders for it. And kind of what Brandon did, if you remember, he took over his dad's business. That was a 20-plus-year-old business that did $100,000 in revenue consistently, right around there, for like ever. He had a different vision for it. He wanted to scale it big and automate it and build like a sellable company, a real asset. Well, he did that really fast. In fact, he did that faster than anybody that I personally know that didn't just grow through just acquisitions. Like he actually built a business doing, multiple millions of dollars in like 4.5 seasons. And, they're just crushing it. So I think what's cool is like a podcast like this, we bring people like him on, or even the things that I've accomplished, right? I started with nothing in the trailer park. I wanted to make $500 a week and built it up and automated it. I only worked 0 to 5 hours a week in my business, and it did over $100,000 a month, regularly, $186,000 the month that we sold it. And there's lots of businesses that do a lot more than that. But for some of you, when you hear that, you're like, I think the first reaction is disbelief, and then you realize like, okay, I guess it was just possible for you, Josh, or you, Brandon, but not in my market. Well, then you keep listening to content like this, and you're like, crap, it is possible in my market. Maybe I'm the problem. And then you realize, yes, it is actually you. You are the problem. But then you put in the work and you educate yourself, and you change your circle of influence and your friends, and you start implementing the things, and it starts working, and then bam, you did it. But it's really due to the fact that you guys are aware that you can have what you want. Isn't that awesome? I mean, I think that's amazing. Thank God for Cliff Young's, for Roger Bannister's, for people like Brandon Vaughn, people like Chris Lamborghini's. He was real early on. He started the first like window cleaning business forum, and there's like tens of thousands of people on there now, but it didn't exist. Or what did exist was like just horrible compared to what he created. And all these people could come together and share their tactics and stuff, and it's amazing. So my whole point is that once you understand that something's possible, it gets a lot easier to do it. And if there's one thing that you get out of a show like this, is that you know that it's possible, because all we do is talk about it. We talk about how to do it. We interview people who are doing it and just rinse and repeat that, right? But there's going to come a time when you're going to have to actually go put on your own running shoes and enter the race, and then you have to do it. Like, there's not a shortcut on that part. The other day I talked about the word decide. Like, when you decide that you're actually going to be serious, and you decide and you make the decision that this is it, I'm not going to live like this anymore, I'm pivoting my life, I'm going to endure, I'm going to figure out a way to get my business fixed no matter what, no exceptions, no excuses. Like, in the moment where you decide that, you're killing off the other possibilities. You're burning the bridge, you're burning your boats. I think Tony Robbins' quote was like, what's the best way to take the island? And it's to burn the boats, right? Like, if you're trying to like subdue an island and you came on boats, like, you burn the boats, you win or you die, right? And that's what decision is all about. That's why I said, the word decide, the last 4 letters in the word decide is C-I-D-E, side, which is also, the same part of the word that's used in suicide or homicide or pesticide or herbicide or any of that stuff. When you kill off the other possibilities, you kill off the excuses, you make a decision, and you couple that with the fact that you know that Cliff Young and Roger Bannister already broke the 4-minute mile. You know that Brandon Vaughn did millions in 4 seasons without any outside funding or anything. When you understand what I was able to do coming from a trailer park, never going to college, you don't got no more excuses, no more, my friend. You just got to put in the work. And whether there's snow on the ground where you are or not, it really doesn't matter, because it's not going to be there the whole year. We're going to figure it out. It's going to work out. Keep your head up. Keep moving forward. Keep chopping wood. Hopefully this was valuable. Take care. God bless.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.